That's amazing. Can you see me? Can you hear me? There you are. Hello. Sweet and Sour, right now. All the guests are in the green room getting their faces put on. And they're going to be addressing these issues that you've sent in for us. His first wife called. And she's speaking to the second wife. Or maybe it's the third wife, I don't know. But it's alarming because the first wife plots out what's going to happen to her relationship. Does she take any notice of her or not? We'll see. We do nothing. What's that about? Global warming. Australians emit 4 times the emissions of any other nationality. And what are we doing about it? I don't know. What are you doing about it? What can we do about it as individuals? He's 16, he's cheating, mum writes in, no integrity from her young boy, but everybody else is very ethical in the family and the mum's despondent. We'll see what the panellists have got to say right now. Join us, Sweet and Sour, starting right now.
Got a problem, big or small, would a miracle be nice? Our motley crew is back, churning out advice. You might even laugh a bit in the following half hour. Park your backside on the couch, cause baby it's time for Sweet and Sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour.
How's the sugar in there, baby?
It's time for Sweet and Sour.
How's about some chili?
It's time for Sweet and Sour.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sweet and Sour. Thanks for joining us tonight. Grab your coffee because we're about to have a terrific time with our panellists. Let's meet them straight away. The coffee's going down now. Hello, Vincenzo.
Ciao, Bello. How are you?
Ciao, straight off the Royal Show. How was it?
It was amazing. I never fail to enjoy myself. Sometimes it feels
But that's true of anywhere you go, mate.
I do. Kids had an amazing time this year, and for the first time in history, the Royal Show was closed on a Friday
I saw
because
that
of bad
storm.
weather.
Yeah.
So that was a first for a lot of people. It
Wow.
just meant we got home a little earlier. And
You would have loved it.
Yeah, all the poor souls that had to work really hard to make it ready for the next day was amazing. We went back at 7 o'clock in the morning and it looked like nothing had happened. It was wonderful.
Wow. Yeah, they would have cleaned it up.
Woohoo!
Nice to have you here,
Thank
Vincenzo.
you.
What show have you got coming up?
I have got so many shows coming up.
Have you really?
Yes, it's leading up to Christmas now.
Are we allowed to say titles? So
shows, lots of different shows.
Lots of them?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, there's lots of things going on. I don't even
Starting
know where to
January?
start.
February?
Now.
Now?
Now, yeah, leading up to Christmas.
Wow.
And then we've got Fringe as well.
And Fringe?
And Fringe. Fringe
Busy.
show's going to be exciting.
Busy lady?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe next time you come on you can
We can
perform
sing
for
some
us.
songs. Yeah, maybe not.
Drabbling? What's
Yes.
that about, Elaine?
It's a 100-word little story that's got a good topic and a punchline.
You any good at it?
I've written 21.
Oh, you're good at poetry now too, I
I'm
hear.
doing that as well.
Oh, which is more fun?
I like drabbles better.
Okay. You're going to write me a drabble tonight and send it to me?
I will, yes, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, promises. That's what you told me last time on the show
Oh,
too. And I'm
thank
still,
God, I've
as
been
my
too-
mum would say, "Akoma perimeno," which
Oh,
means I'm
signomi.
still waiting.
Signomi para calor.
Okay, all right. Excused. Hello, Jono.
Hello, Gary.
How's the legal world?
It's very good, thank you. Very busy at the moment.
But I hear you've been distracted by other things of a mechanical nature.
Yeah, I have a mechanical beast in my backyard. It's known as a Valiant.
What year?
Also known as a Greek Mercedes in the back.
What year is it?
1964.
Most definitely then. Most definitely.
Oh my
Just be
God.
safe. There wouldn't be another one on the road at the moment, would
Well,
there?
not that looks like this. This is pristine.
All
I
right.
actually have
Next time you have to bring us in a photo.
I will.
All right.
I will.
Here we go. This one's titled Prototype Junkie. Dear Sweet and Sour, he makes me feel wonderful even if he's 30 years older than me. He has 3 kids from 2 previous marriages who are all aged within 5 years of me. I have a 9-year-old daughter. I had her when I was 18. I'm Asian and his previous wives were all Asian and looked like me. He obviously has a type. His first wife called me recently. Boom, boom, boom. She described the initial phases of her relationship with her ex-husband, my current boyfriend, with the view to warn me that he is simply grooming me and that I will suffer the same fate as her and his other ex-wife. That is, to come home one day when he lands his eyes, when his eyes land on a younger version of me and find that he will then go off and seek out his new conquest and abandon me. We've been together for 2 years, and up until recently I'd been planning our wedding, and he's been happy to plan along with me. Now, however, I'm a little unnerved by the warning I received, so do I heed the advice of his first wife or not? And now that his pattern has been planted in my head, I don't know how I might again have peace of mind in this relationship. Please advise. And it comes to us from Chloe in Box Hill, Victoria, and we're going straight to Vincenzo.
Oh, Chloe. You poor soul. First of all, love conquers all. If he's right for you, forget about what others are telling you, but be smarter. Listen, watch. I'd be sitting him down. It's supposed to be a marriage and you're going to be honest with each other. So why wouldn't you sit him down and tell him about some of the worries that you have and what you've heard, and say, by the way, they tell me that you might not wash dishes. They tell me you might not cook for me. You might not buy me flowers. You might not take me on holidays.
Lather it up.
Create the list, and he will try so hard to live up all those lists for you. You just might have
Smart.
the best wedding in the world and snub your nose at everybody else.
That's very, very smart. Darlene, once you're told something, it's very hard not to imagine what's going on.
That's right. But Chloe, I'm no psychologist, but us women have very strong intuition, and a lot of us don't follow our intuition. But I would say to you, follow your intuition, follow your heart.
The guts.
And you don't know, she could be causing trouble. It always takes two to tango. That's what I think. So I think you've got to look at both sides, but follow your heart, follow your intuition, and if you're not feeling right about it, maybe don't go ahead with it. But if you do love him and want to go forward, keep going.
If it's a mistake, big deal. You're allowed to learn in life anyway,
of course,
aren't you?
that's right. That's right, but you've got to do it yourself.
Elaine, why is the first wife picking up the phone in the first place?
I think she's just being nasty, really. I think she's being envious, perhaps. Maybe she was really badly hurt. Maybe she's giving her a warning. But anyway, I'm sort of concerned that he's 30 years older. I mean, my husband was about 6 years older than I was. I don't know how I would feel with a 30-year-old.
But she's in love.
But you know what? Yes. Okay.
Counts for a lot, doesn't it? Yes.
My concern is the 9-year-old daughter. You know, she's going to open up this child's life to this new man who has now had this is his third marriage. You know, and this woman, according to one other ex-wife, that, you know, he moves on. He has a type. Well, most of us have a type, don't we?
Most of us have a type.
Yeah, most of us have a type. But, you know, I think that I'm not sure about the wife's motives. I think you've got to ask the question, you know, what is my gut instinct? The other thing is, why do they need to get married? Why not live together? She's got the same rights.
Hang around for a while.
They've been together for 2 years. She has the same rights. What's he going to get out of getting married? He's been married 3 times. There's something not right here. Anyway, so I think she needs to follow her gut instinct, and the fact that she wrote to us means that she's not sure. As far as I'm concerned, she should just move on.
Churning up inside. Jono.
Move on.
I'd say to Chloe, don't listen to one of these bitter, twisted words from the ex. As soon as people get into a new relationship, and I speak from the bottom of my heart here, with a wealth of experience, someone wants to drive a stake through it. They hate other people being in love. I suspect the first wife is miserable, twisted, psycho, probably an alcoholic, and is not having great sex at the moment. So she wants to spoil this relationship. Do not listen to a word, follow your heart and stay in love. That's my advice.
We asked you at home to answer this question for us online. Should the opinion of a previous partner to your spouse have any bearing on your life? And here's what you said. Well, 14% of you have been warned by a previous partner, apparently, but 86% of you said, nah, forget it. There are ulterior motives at play. When we come back, we're going to be talking about what the individuals can be doing at the personal level to reduce your carbon footprint. Don't go away. More of Sweet and Sour after the break. What's anybody doing?
Toss some sugar on there, baby.
It's time for Sweet and Sour.
How's about some chili?
Welcome back to Sweet and Sour. If you'd like to send us a letter and have it discussed by the panellists, send it to the address that's appearing on your screen right now, and you'll see there's not one, there are 5 of them. There's Snapchat, there's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's a whole lot of others there, so you've got no excuse not to get a letter in and have it discussed. And for everyone that does get in a letter and is fortunate enough to have it discussed by the panellists, that means you have to make it a little racy for us. We're going to send you to the movies, courtesy of Natalie Cameron and NRC Communications. And there you go on your screen right now. We're sending you to Will Smith's movie Gemini Man. And apparently he doesn't take 2 roles, he takes 3 roles.
Uh-huh.
I love Will Smith.
I like rolls.
Yeah, I like Will Smith too.
bread rolls.
Especially when he
Bread
has
rolls. Elaine likes bread rolls. Hi, Sweet and Sour.
Yeah.
So here's a fact that no one disputes, but Elaine's going to apparently. But most of us don't want to
I
acknowledge.
agree.
Australians per head of population are the greatest contributors to global warming than any other nationality. We represent only, get this, 0.035% of the population, yet we contribute more than 1.3% of the global warming emissions. That is, each over-consuming, chronically polluting, entitled Aussie, and I include all of us in that, is living at a level that heats the planet 4 times more than any other individual elsewhere on the planet. That's simply the fact. Yet we do nothing. Our youth go on school strikes, our adults use more electricity than ever before and buy bigger and bigger polluting cars, and our increasingly embarrassing Prime Minister sobs to the media that he's not getting any credit for meeting bogus emission targets. It's very disappointing that we seem to just bury our collective head. Is it a collective head or collective heads in the sand? And I think that we shouldn't or can't be doing anything at the individual level. It's no wonder there's no political will. It's clear we now live in an age of Australian decline, economically, socially, environmentally. Oh, that's a bit sad, isn't it? Doomsday. What do the panellists suggest we can do urgently at the individual level now? Blythe of June Denner, here in WA.
Yeah. I'm going to invite her for coffee. She
you-
lives down the street from me, I think.
Jono, first up.
One of the first things I'd be doing is banning all the unsolicited circulars that we get in our mailbox.
Oh, yes.
All the colour printed material that nobody wants and put straight into their recycle bin. That's at a sort of micro
You'd
level.
be doing a lot of people out of some income though, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but all of that is pure waste. And I suspect nobody reads it.
Jono, you're going to have the same problem as the coal lobby does.
I would
You can't put all those people out of work.
be putting a 5% refund fee on every plastic bottle and can. That would be
Good.
another thing I'd be doing.
Good, encourage the recycling.
I'd be telling Woolies and Coles never to have any of their stupid promotions where they give
Plastic bits.
toys to people, which all end up in the bin. There are just so many things we could be doing to reducing pollution, and it's all these plastic goods that we create. Now, I want to throw something at one of our panellists over here who might be expecting this, but Vince, they say one of the leading causes of the greenhouse
warming.
effect
Methane.
is methane gas, and that's as a result of the production of meat. And one council, or a couple of councils, have now moved that we should only eat meat twice a week.
Vincenzo, we'll go to you and you can have your say at this point in
So-
time as well.
Don't listen to that silly idea of eating meat twice a week. A doctor will tell you that you need to eat it 3 times a week. And if you're doing it more, you're just being careful, no problem. While we got me on this subject, can I just say, we need to make heroes of all of the nanas and the mamas that over the years that I grew up were the greatest recyclers the world had ever seen.
Yeah, that's
One
right.
ice cream container did about 456 different meal replacements, always getting used for a different. True, think about it. We were living that life and we thought we were doing it because we were poor, but technically we were saving the planet.
And the big brown beer bottles, Vince.
Oh, I've got beer bottles that are at least 100 years old that I recycle every February to make my homemade tomato sauce. So I say to everybody, start a petition to get a TV show where we only have old grandmothers and grandfathers showing us how to
do
live
it.
properly.
Come on in, Elaine.
Blythe, I think you're my neighbour. I live in Jundanna also. I agree with everything that you've said. I've tried and do my bit, not because it's something new, but because we should all be recycling anyway. We should all be doing our bit to save the planet for the future generations. Now, sadly, Australia's not going to meet its 2030 greenhouse gas emissions reduction target by 26 to 80% below the 2005 levels by 2030, which was supposed to happen. It's not going to happen. But my question is, what are you doing about this? There's so
What are
much.
you doing?
Yeah, there's so much information online.
Lead by example.
Yeah, where you can find like-minded people who would band together and lobby your representatives. There's always strength in numbers. So either you join a group or form one. There's many people who think like you and just need a leader. So you be the leader. You do it something. Don't let others deter you. Just do it.
Darlene, what are you doing about it?
Okay, I've been thinking a lot about this lately, and unfortunately, one person can't make monumental changes in the whole world, but each of us can do little things every day
That add up.
and make a difference for big changes in the future. Can I just tell you one little thing that happened to me on the weekend, which I was very impressed with? I went to a cafe on Sunday, and I like to have, this is my one thing I do. I'm pretty good all of the time, but I always like to have a takeaway cup coffee, and I got a takeaway cup coffee. I asked for one in this particular cafe, and they said to me no.
What?
No takeaway cup coffee this particular day, but I have it in the cafe. And they said to me, no, you can't, because we're trying to stop using takeaway coffee cups. Yeah, so I was impressed with that, and I thought that was really good.
It was.
But I still think a coffee tastes better in a takeaway cup.
In a takeaway cup.
It does.
I take my
Thank you.
Chinese cup. No,
Thank you,
I
thank
does
you.
taste better.
Thank you, John.
We asked you at home to answer this question online for us. Do you feel you are contributing enough personally to reduce your carbon footprint and counter global warming? Here's what you said. 26% of you said yes. Only 26% of you were comfortable with what you're doing at home. 74% of you said, nah, we're not doing enough. So 74% of you, move you into gear. When we come back, we are talking about ethics and honesty. And do cheats really prosper in this modern age? Don't go away. More of Sweet and Sour.
Right here on Sweet and Sour.
Pour some sugar on there, baby.
It's time for Sweet and Sour.
How's about some chili?
It's time for Sweet and Sour.
Hello, Mitch and panellists, writes Nerida of Goodwood in South Australia. My 16-year-old son doesn't see anything wrong with cheating. His father and I have both tried to show him that cheating doesn't pay. There are newspaper stories by the dozen of cheaters being sent to prison all the time. There are plenty of movies where cheats just get their just desserts, and I have a father with the utmost integrity who loves my son so much that he spends much of his time and effort to show him constantly that in life there are no shortcuts. I'm not sure any of it is sinking in. My son was caught at school last week cheating. I might add that that was with his group of 5 friends, all sharing answers in their exams. They've been doing it for a while apparently and getting away with it until now. In his defence, he cites various bankers, politicians, miners, and of course the compulsive liars and cheats pin-up boy, Donald Trump, as success models. My dad shrugged his shoulders today, suggesting that maybe we have the wrong idea despite a lifetime of living with integrity. Dad said to me, perhaps we're living in different times where our models of truth and justice are no longer currency in a world that seems to reward evil selfishness. So please, Sweet and Sour, could you give me some reassurance that crime does not pay and that clean, respectful living is the only way forward for our next generation? Straight to Darlene.
Oh, okay. No, Nerida, no, cheating doesn't pay, but nagging won't help the situation either. And when parents nag, kids rebel, and it's just human nature. He's only 16 years old. So I personally think if you...
Give him time, he'll learn it anyway?
Give him time. I'm sure you're teaching him good ethics and good morals. And at the end of the day, You'll lead by example and he'll follow in the end. I think he's just being a rebellious child at the moment.
Gosh.
Teenager.
How do you nip it in the bud, Vincenzo?
Well, first of all, they've got to live. They've got to make their mistakes.
They've got to learn.
And they've got to learn, and you're there to constantly remind them, and Dad's there constantly reminding. I was a child that got into a lot of trouble for bad manners, whether I wiped my tomato sauce from my pasta eating exercise on the tablecloth, or just used my sleeve. But when I became a young man and went out on business, the first thing I started to scratch the back of my subconscious. What did Mum say?
Yeah.
What did Dad say?
Yeah.
So don't get overexcited. I think that the pain that he will go through in little things going wrong, we all can talk about how much easier it is to sleep at night when you do the right thing. But let him make his little mistakes now. And I promise you, with guys like you around, I think he's going to grow up to be quite an amazing young man. Good luck.
Nag him. It's funny how you keep running into the things you don't expect to that your mum and dad were telling you over many, many, many years, and you go, oh, now I know what they're talking about. We asked you at home to answer this question for us online. Are cheats beginning to prosper in the modern era? I was amazed to see this result. 62% of you said yes, I can see cheats prospering in the modern age. Well, they'll all get their comeuppance, won't they? 38% of you said no. Don't know what's going to happen. Jono, you're at the front line of this.
Yeah, well, I see a lot of people who do cheat, and the ones I see generally get caught. But I wasn't going to speak from more of a legal perspective, but more of a cultural one, where there's a lot of American TV, for example, at the moment, which glorifies cheaters.
Yeah,
so if you think of movies like The Hangover, where they cheat at the card game, if you think of Ocean's 11, if you think of it going as far back as Robert Redford in The Sting, cheaters were glorified and are still glorified by a lot of TV that we watch and movies. But at the end of the day, you don't get away with it. I think cheating in exams is particularly bad. I don't know why you'd want to do it either. I think you want a true litmus test of how you're actually going and what you're doing. So, yeah, at the end of the day, don't do it. It will catch up with you. That's my advice.
Elaine, last word. What do you tell your grandkids?
My grandkids are older than this. My grandkids are in their 20s. And I remember I started thinking about my 16-year-old son. Anyway, he's 16. It's a difficult age. He's too old to sit at the children's table, and he's too young to sit with the adults.
Yeah, he doesn't want to.
No, he
doesn't want to sit with any of them.
However, say to him, where do you see yourself in 10 years' time? You know, do you have a plan? Do you want to follow a career, a trade, or whatever? You can't keep nagging them and talking to them. Taking the easy way, you just tell him taking the easy way more often turns out to be the hard way. A criminal's life looks pretty good, but they always have to look over their shoulder. You can't trust anybody. You know, criminals can't trust somebody else because you're all criminals.
You don't want to be a crim.
Elaine, you didn't take that answer off me, did you?
No.
You got to say goodnight now.
So,
we're on our way.
Honesty may be boring and not always easy, but you sleep at night, and whatever you have achieved in your life, it's yours.
It's yours. You got to sleep at night comfortably. That's the big
Absolutely.
litmus test, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night. Jono, say goodnight.
Good night.
Vincenzo?
Buonanotte.
Buonanotte, Darlene.
Good night.
Where are we seeing you soon? Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Thank our wonderful panellists. Thank our terrific crew. And thanks for having us at home tonight, Australia. Good night, everyone. This is the wave time. That's it. Good night. See you next week. Bye for now.
Gully Mister.